The ancient stones, the perfect backdrop to this all-night summer solstice gathering. Everyone hoping sunrise on the longest day would be as good as this, the sunset, which greeted people as they arrived.
Last year it was too misty. The year before we had horizontal rain. Hopefully this year we'll get a clear one.
I'm coming to be reborn, magically, spiritually reborn, transitioning through the universe into something new.
We've been talking about it all morning long. Today is the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, also the official start of summer. And Yelp's community manager Kevin Blum here to talk about some fun events going on in the Bay Area in which we can spend that extra moment or two in the sun today. Everything from wine and food festivals to medieval jousting, which really sounds interesting. A lot of things to do on this longest day.
I remember just constant, absolute terror, and I can't explain how intense, how strong, how all-encompassing that terror is. Unless you do this, you're going to get killed. You're going to die.
Here's what the situation is. There is an event coming up on June the 21st at the Sedalia, Colorado, near Castle Rock between Denver and Colorado Springs. It is the 100 Illuminati bankers worldwide will come together to perform a human sacrifice. I've had people, neighbors in the area say that goes on every year. I had spooks finally admit that that was the location. I'm asking people to get out there with video cameras. Glenn wants to do a live feed that night. Get out there, protesters. Get out there at the castle and take pictures. What I've been told is they come in secret. And if anybody, they think someone's going to see them, they put black hoods over their head and walk in. The shortest little prick that'll be out there, satanic, will be Larry Mizell. But they're all getting out of limos. They stay at the Brown Palace Hotel downtown Denver and the Denver Tech Center. There's pre-ritual parties that used to happen at Leonard Millman's house, number 1 Eudora, where they were raping kids like my ex-wife and all this and passing them around among each other and their own kids. Okay? So what I'm asking for is everybody get involved. Everybody's bombarding Bilderbergers in the Bilderberger meeting. Let's go for the satanic worship at the Kimball Castle. Let's get these Satanists down on tape. I have had people tell me repeatedly, high-level intelligence officers, tell me that thing is real. It goes down every year. I want to catch these people. Second part of this, we're asking for prayer warriors. We can cast demons and devils out because God's proven to me that can happen. We can stop the devil from coming up to their big satanic worship. We can stop them from killing this infant and drinking its blood. We can stop the murder. We can put a halt to them. If they don't meet with Satan for their little toy game or for their little world game, they don't get instructions from Satan on what their future is going to be, who should they attack for the next few months, etc., until their next solstice, or not solstice, but their next equinox satanic worship that they do. Folks, pray against them between now and June the 21st. 9 p.m. the party starts until 4 a.m. roughly. By then, they've already murdered the kid. If someone sees somebody wrapping a kid up or carrying something in, they kidnap kids. I've heard repeatedly someone needs to do massive research on it. Comes from the four corners, they call it. Texas, Arizona, Colorado, Kansas, sometimes out of other states. And they pay a kidnapper high dollars to bring the kid down there. They always want a newborn from a hospital within a few hours, or less than a day old is what I've been told, to their sacrifice to Satan.
They made it to be like it was a great privilege to eat the bodies. I mean, the girl that I had to kill, they treated me like I was being given a great gift when they gave me a part of her body that I had to eat. I remember being horrified, but knowing that my horror would not let me survive and that I had to put my horror somewhere else.
My name is Anthony LeVay, and I'm what they call the Black Pope's son. Anton LeVay was my father, and he was the Pope, head of the Church of Satan in San Francisco, California. and he has quite a few churches all over the United States, which range from over 500 or so, and then there's organizations which are pretty much hooked to the Church of Satan, sort of like a whole family tree. If you were to draw it out, the Church of Satan is governed by the Council of 13. There's a lot of organizations, the Hellfire Clubs, the Knights of Templar, and which are all on the family tree. They're all intertwined and interconnected. And the Council of 13 is just 12 men of our U.S. government and one Russian delegate. They always meet in East Berlin at what they call the Mother Church, which is the headquarters for the Church of Satan, about once a year. They also have another meeting place over here in the United States, which is the Kimberly Castle.
They're in Sedalia, Colorado, correct?
Correct. And most of the time they do a lot of business meetings over in East Berlin, but for the Kimberly Castle, they do a lot of rituals. And there's also another place they do meet, but mostly at the Kimberly Castle, where they have their so-called, parties, are really ritual. It's been known for quite some time that the Bush family is generational Satanists. And generational Satanists are right down the bloodline. It goes way back into their bloodline from generation to generation. I have met all of these guys at one time. I was confronted because in front of these guys in East Berlin, I know who they are, and I remember Bush Sr.
George Bush Sr., George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yes. The reason I was confronted was I was rebellious against my father. I was only born for the purpose of leadership, to take my father's place when came time, and I wasn't learning what I was supposed to learn to the Loins, and he just got frustrated, so I was confronted by the Council of 13. If I didn't ship up, they would come down even harder with me, but I decided a long time ago, I was, I guess, the age of 10 at that time when I was confronted in front of them.
How old are you now, Anthony?
I'm 38. And they didn't like what I had to say.
Now, tell the audience what it was that you said to them at the time.
I can't remember exact words because it's been a lot of years. But I can just tell you, all in all, that I just told them I was not going to be the next leader of the Church of Satan. That I had other plans in mind, and that I had a better God that I believed in.
And the God you believe in. Now you're a Christian minister, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And you're actually helping children with your ministry come out of the occult, out of these satanic occults, aren't you?
You know, Stu, there are so many in there that are caught up into it, that are just from generational Satanists that are being sifted in and sometimes killed if they don't do what they're supposed to do. The parents in a generational Satanist family believe that the firstborn son is the one that should carry on the traditions of Satanism in the family. And if they don't do it, they are locked up, they are tortured, and this isn't just, general torture that you might see overseas in a war or something. These are very abnormal things they do to the kids.
Okay, now, speaking of that, abnormity, they did something to you at the Kimball Castle on the throne of Satan, they call it, there in Sedalia, Colorado, didn't they? Because of your rebellion and refusing. They planned on killing you, weren't they?
Well, I don't think they planned on killing me. He was trying to scare me into taking my rightful place. And he just couldn't seem to bend my will. And
as a result of that, what did they do to you? Tell the audience. I know it's difficult. We've talked about it, and I know it's...
The council was putting pressure on him. So he castrated me, but...
That was your own father. They castrated you at the Kimball Castle.
Yes.
On the altar of Satan. And George Herbert Walker Bush was there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. They all were.
The whole council of 13, including your father, Anton LaVey.
Well, yeah. He's the one that did it, yes.
Okay. Go ahead. What kind of other torture do they do to people, Anthony?
Well, including putting them in ditches with feces, keeping them there, locked up in it.
Well, the case that started April 7th involves Jorge Bergoglio, Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and Adolfo Pichon, who's the head of the Jesuits. It's the Superior General of the Jesuit Order. Those are the three primary defendants in the case involving global child trafficking. And one of the women who I met in Brussels described, and we have this on video, which will be released by the prosecutor's office. She described being at a ceremony where both Welby and Bergoglio were present, and the way she put it in her statement, she said Bergoglio had this penchant, this kind of preference of tossing children into this. She was describing it was like a pit. And the same pit is described by Toos Nieuwenhuis in her description of the events in Holland, the child sacrificial rite. She said Bergoglio liked to push people in the pit. Justin Welby liked to use electricity on them. She was describing the different electric shock tortures and things. More and more evidence is coming out linking Jorge Bergoglio to the Ninth Circle sacrificial cult and to an apparent power struggle going on right now between the Latin American and German factions in the College of Cardinals in Rome. So I think it's definitely, we're looking at the possibility that his resignation or forced removal or whatever might be in the offing. They're in a panic. They're in panic mode. They don't really know what to do now that this evidence doesn't stop. And the evidence is actually coming from within the Vatican. There's a source, two sources actually, two separate sources in the Vatican that has been giving the prosecutor's office documents, including from Jesuit archives over 200 years old, describing the Ninth Circle and how every serving pope is supposed to be part of these child sacrificial rites.